Do you believe that there is life after death and wonder how it looks like? Will we go to heaven or suffer in hell after we die? Can we really know what happens after we die, or do NDEs offer a glimpse into the great unknown? Hello everyone and welcome to our channel, where we share incredible near-death experiences stories all over the world. Lay back, relax and let's begin today's story. I was 27 years old when I had my near-death experience. At the time, I was living in a small town in the Midwest, working as a high school English teacher. I was married to my college sweetheart and we had a young daughter. It was a beautiful summer day, and I was out for a run on the country roads near our house. I was training for a half marathon and was feeling strong and healthy. As I rounded a bend in the road, I suddenly heard a loud screech and saw a car careening toward me. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the ground, feeling a searing pain in my side. I tried to get up, but my body wouldn't respond. I looked down and saw blood spreading across my shirt. I knew then that I was in trouble. As I lay there, I felt a sense of panic rising within me. I thought of my husband and daughter and the life we had built together. I didn't want to leave them. Suddenly, everything went black. I felt a sense of weightlessness, as if I was floating away from my body. I looked down and saw myself lying on the ground, but it didn't feel like me. It was like I was observing someone else. As I floated upward, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. The panic and fear that had consumed me just moments before were gone, replaced by a feeling of peace and serenity. I continued to rise, and as I did, I felt a warm, comforting light envelop me. It was like nothing I had ever experienced before. The light was all around me, but it wasn't blinding or overwhelming. It was gentle and soothing, like a warm embrace. As I moved closer to the light, I saw that it was emanating from a figure. It was a person, or at least it appeared to be. The figure was dressed in a white robe, and its features were indistinct. But I felt an overwhelming sense of love and compassion emanating from it. The figure spoke to me, not with words, but with a feeling. It conveyed a sense of love and acceptance, and a message that everything was going to be okay. It was like a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. As I basked in the warmth and love of the figure, I began to sense the presence of other beings around me. I couldn't see them, but I could feel their presence. I sensed that they were my loved ones who had passed away. My grandmother was the first one to come forward. She had passed away when I was in college, and I had always been close to her. She embraced me, and I felt her love and warmth surround me. Then came my grandfather, who had died when I was a child. I had few memories of him, but I knew him through the stories my family had told me. He greeted me with a smile and a hug, and I felt a sense of belonging and connection. As more and more of my loved ones gathered around me, I felt a sense of joy and contentment. I was surrounded by love, and I knew that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I lost track of time as I basked in the love and warmth of the beings around me. But eventually, I became aware of a voice calling my name. It was distant at first, but it grew louder and more insistent. Reluctantly, I turned away from the figures and looked down. I saw my body lying on the ground, surrounded by paramedics. They were shouting instructions and trying to revive me. For a moment, I felt torn between the love and warmth of the beings around me and the urgency of the situation below. But then I heard the voice again, calling my name. It was familiar, and it pulled me back to reality. With a sense of reluctance, I began to move away from the beings and toward my body. As I did, I felt a sense of sadness and longing. I didn't want to leave the love and warmth behind, but I knew that I had to. As I moved closer to my body, I saw that the paramedics were working frantically to save me. They were administering CPR and other life-saving measures, but I could sense that they were struggling. I wanted to reach out to them, to tell them that everything was going to be okay, but I couldn't. I was outside of my body, and it was like they couldn't see or hear me. As I watched, I saw one of the paramedics look up and shake his head. I knew then that I was gone. I felt a sense of sadness and regret wash over me. I had so much more life to live, and I didn't want to leave my family behind. But then something strange happened. Just as I was about to leave, I felt a sudden jolt. It was like a surge of energy that pulsed through me. And then I was back in my body, gasping for air. The paramedics were still there, but now they were cheering and clapping. I later learned that they had just managed to revive me after several minutes of trying. In the days and weeks that followed, I struggled to make sense of what had happened. I knew that I had experienced something profound and life-changing, but I couldn't put it into words. It wasn't until months later, after I had fully recovered, that I began to share my story with others. At first, people were skeptical, but as I told more and more people, I began to realize that I wasn't alone. There were others who had experienced similar things, and they found comfort in hearing my story. Since my near-death experience, my life has changed in many ways. I have a deeper appreciation for the people and experiences in my life. I no longer take anything for granted, and I try to live every day with gratitude and compassion. I also no longer fear death. I know that there is something beyond this life, and that gives me comfort and peace. My experience has also led me to explore spirituality in a deeper way. I no longer identify with any particular religion, but I have a deep sense of connection to something greater than myself. Overall, my near-death experience was a profound and life-changing event. It opened my eyes to the beauty and wonder of the world around me, and it gave me a sense of peace and understanding that I had never known before. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and turn on your notification to receive the latest NDE story from our channel. May God bless you all.